statements. And more so when you look at the amount involved. I don't know whether there's any other county beside Nairobi where we have seen a pending bill of 11 billion. 11 billion is a 2-year revenue for some counties.
Chair, it's unfortunate that the officer who is answering, he knows that this financial year, from July last year up to now, we have paid how much billions on pending bills? 5 point? But you're not telling the Senate. So how did you want them to understand? You want us to leave this room, this Senate, knowing that we have all people 11 billion when you have paid 5 billion? You're also not serious, man.
Okay, Governor, you will do that exercise when you go back home. So,
Chair,
for now, let me give the directions.
You say the governor should say the truth, nothing but absolute truth. Thank you for saying it. But now
he might intimidate his officers. I just want us to be.
Chair, what I wanted to get. So, does it mean, Governor, through the chair?
They have paid 5.7 billion, Chair.
So out of,
and for an officer to stand in front of Senate, and I'll deal with it when I go home.
No. Governor, maybe Senator Chiragi, so that,
yes.
Governor, I think this is a question that is important even for you to understand. So yes, we appreciate we have paid 5 billion, but it relates to which debt? Is it the current debt, the 2-year-old debt, or the 3-year-old debt? Because pending bills, it's supposed to be a fast charge. So even when you say you're happy you are paid 5 billion, we have no visibility on whether you're doing the fast charge as required by law. So it's something that we must also probe further. Senator Chirarke.
So, Governor, out of 11 billion, you have paid 5.7 billion. In your financial statements, I have not seen the aging analysis. So maybe you might have that information here or there. What was the basis of your payment of this 5.7 billion? And now that the gentleman, was it called Mwakio, through the chair, he might have to take an oath. If he can be able to now that he says he has information there, if he has the aging analysis, can he get us that so that when the governor answers about paying 5.7 billion, it would be easier? Because, Governor, to imagine that even if you still owe another almost 5 to 6, average of 6 billion, it's still a lot of money. And I want to imagine the businessmen and women of Kilifi who are being owed by the county. I can imagine the pain that they go through. So is there a schedule of breakdown of how many people have you paid in your annexures? How many are pending bill? Governor, is it here? Is it in the part of your annexures?
Maybe so that the governor can answer about
Senator Maruma?
This 1.1 billion, is it possible to disaggregate it in terms of salaries and emoluments, because there are late exchequer release, then LAP fund, LAP trust, NSSF, payee, and so on? Is it possible to break it down like that? The 1 billion, 105 million, 506, 252.
Chair, on the issue of the bills, then I'll let the officer answer on the 1.1 billion. On the issue of pending bills, Chair, you will realize that as much as they did not put annexures, I can explain what is going on. One is, apart from the bills you have paid, they were not paid according to age. Don't forget, Chair, we have bills which, unfortunately, sometimes, like Senator Cherogay, suffer, because you realize you brought equipment for hospitals and whatever, and you need to get again more, even KEMSA, medicine and whatever, that you have to, again, go back and pay that one first because of the urgency of it. So sometimes you will get people who are paid according to the age. Some are paid because of the services they deliver, number one. Number two is some of the current pending bills are certificates pending of ongoing projects. You will come, for example, we are building a county headquarters, which is on the 5th floor. It's being tiled at the moment. But the only money we have paid so far is about 120 million certificates. The rest are pending. So there are projects ongoing, but they still have pending certificates because of the resources management also at the same time.
Sorry, Chair, which report do
thought
you have there?
segregation.
Is it a report of a task force to look at the eligible and the ineligible pending bills? Or is it a report of the aging analysis that was required by the control of budget? What report are we having there?
And maybe in addition, Senator Maruma, that's something about segregation. The justification is, Governor, you have said you pay on need assessment. The more agent like medical supplies and what have you, over ongoing projects. So that is the segregation that we wanted.
There's some here, Chair. I don't know why the officer is so nervous that he could not explain the year
Is it,
and
do we
age.
have that
It's here.
document, Governor, here?
Chair, maybe you don't.
Which report
This is on
that?
whose book? Did you hand over this to the?
Is it a report of the aging analysis or the
Is it
report
attached?
on a task force on the eligible?
It's not
pending bills?
attached, Chair, but it's here. So you needed to read it and tell the Senate that you have not attached it, but you can leave a copy. Where is that Makio fellow?
No, Governor, I thought as a former member of parliament, there is procedure of tabling documents.
Yes, I know,
Why
Chair.
are you doing things?
No, I know, Chair, but it's the fact that he cannot answer a question when he's holding a document here.
So maybe you have intimidated him too much.
No, so, the Senate told me, but maybe he's scared of what action will
So,
follow.
Chair, I think the issue is this 5.7 that has been paid. We must get the how it was paid. What was the justification? Then the outstanding amount, the segregation, because and then you have brought another angle which is unusual, of raising certificates on ongoing county government projects. So if we can get that, and I think the OAG, even in the most of the financial statements, not Muriuki, there have always been analysis that it becomes easy to dispense because we have said pending bill is a first discharge. So I want to imagine if Kilifi is having 5 billion plus as an outstanding pending bill, based on it, and you know counties or our people, businessmen and women, almost 200 billion Kenya shillings. In fact, the governor, you are among the highest with the pending bill in the country, because I've seen numbers who are paying. So maybe just as an out of curiosity, now that Kilifi, is there something that is attached to the historical establishment of the devolution of Kilifi that this spending bill is unusually high? Could it be attributed to some historical, like the one we just discussed, like the one where air was being paid? Chair, we need to know because Kilifi has have unusual high pending bill. What is maybe, Chair, so that we can do, but what is, Governor, what is the general reason?
Chair,
What is the
reason, Chair,
reason?
first. The first region, Chair, the transition report I got from my predecessors, the transition committee, they gave me a bill of 3.4 billion.
Then.
That's what I took over first before I came to office. So I've been trying to manage both the development and paying the previous bills and the current bills. The unfortunate thing, Chair, also, which probably makes us look like we have a big pending bill, is that among the bills which were pending, some of the analysis of the project, because immediately I came to office, I appointed a pending bills committee, you will realize also some of the pending bills we are paying, some of those projects are not finished. So we are now put money again to finish what we saw left over around the, don't forget the times have changed, the money required. If you required 1 million finish a project 2022, you need maybe 2 million now, finish the same project. So those were the challenges. But we are trying to bridge the gap, Chair. You'll realize.
I think our analysis needs to be data-driven.
Yes, Chair.
And when we say it should be data-driven, your officer, the breakdown he has given us indicates that 90% of your pending bills were incurred during your time in office. It's only 1.7 billion that is older than 3 years. So I don't think it's a historical problem where 90% has been incurred between 0 to 3 years.
The transition report, Chair, is there. I think we'll need to deliver the transition report to this House on what what exactly was handed over. On the 1.1 billion, that is on the transition committee, which we have a report. We can, if you allow us, we can forward to the committee at a later date. And on the 1.1 million, the money.
Chair, just on a point of procedure, you know there is what we call equality in arms. Why is the governor ambushing us with documents we should have brought, we will bring, we will table? You should allow that decision to the chair. Number one. Number two, chair, that points to the issue of readiness, because if you are saying there is a document that was not supplied, it leaves us at a disadvantaged position, chair, yet we want to see the numbers and that movement.
Yeah, I think at the end of this, we'll be very clear, we'll be very elaborate on the detailed information that we require to deal with this matter.
That's okay, Chair. The only thing is, Chair, maybe the reason why we have not supplied some of the information, because it was not part of the questions we received. Number two, the issue of maybe the officer, if I can assist him, so that he can answer the 1.1 billion, is that the salary of June, that is 2024, 2020, that query is for 1.1, the money came in July for the salary. So maybe it appears still that it was unspent, because most of the time we pay with Fuliza, depending if we are allowed Fuliza before July or it comes at the same time. So as you pay Fuliza.
How many months?
1 month. So at least out of that 1.1 billion, he should be able to deduct the delay of the salary of June.
How much do you pay per month?
It was May and June, actually.
May and June.
May and June. So that brings almost 1.1 billion. 800 and something plus the other utilities should bridge the gap.
Yeah, so we must, even that 1.1 billion cannot just be explained by saying it was paid, because we need to understand its components. We have seen in our experience where statutory deductions are not being remitted. We have seen where pension contributions are not being remitted. And that's why we need that detailed breakdown. To avoid a situation where we are throwing figures in the air, we shall direct that, number one, we must get a proper aging analysis for trade payables and staff and employee payables. It was omitted from the financial statement. I think we need to get visibility on that. We will also need to get a proper payment plan, the one that you have come up with for pending bills. That then will demonstrate the 5 billion you're talking about that has been paid. Under employee payables, we'll need to get a detailed breakdown and confirm that statutory remittances, deductions to SACCOs, insurance premiums, etc., have been settled, because you're concerned that you opened the year with 288 million as outstanding employee payables. We need to understand why that was older than 1 year in your books. Are you deducting from employees and not remitting? But then there's another limb to this question, where the auditor is saying, you gave directions to the internal auditor to verify the pending bills. Then you took away that instruction and gave it to something else called Accounts Payable Subcommittee. Remember, you have just told us that you had a problem with the pending bills that were handed over to you. And you explained yourself even the last time you appeared before us. Don't you think that the internal auditor would be a better responsibility to verify the pending bills rather than another subcommittee comprised of finance officers, the people who perhaps caused the problem? What was the wisdom of moving this from internal audit to accounts payable subcommittee?
Chair, I know that I instructed and appointed the internal auditor to investigate pending bills, but the accounting committee, maybe the CC Finance can explain. That was not me who appointed it. Maybe you should be able to explain that.
So who are these people? Who sits in that accounts payable subcommittee?
So I think this was done by the Department of Finance, so I should explain.
Because this is such a serious thing that you have more than 10 billion, which people claim you owe them. And we had said that let's leave the Auditor General out of it. Let's use the internal auditors. And then arbitrarily, you take it from the internal auditor and you give it to a subcommittee of the transition to accrual committee. What was the wisdom?
Let the CC Finance answer that.
But who appointed governor? Who made the decision to withdraw that power from the internal audit?
No, I appointed the internal audit. If somebody went and did anything else which I'm not aware, I can explain it here.
Okay, let's hear from CC.
Thank you, Chair, and with the authority of my governor. I think we're handling two separate issues. The internal audit was specifically looking at the pending bills, but this committee that we are talking about here is a committee that was appointed as a transitional committee to move from, particularly on the reporting side, where now we were moving into the accrual. So this committee was specifically looking at transiting from the previous reporting system or method to now the accrual. So it,
I think just go back to the written response that has been read by the governor. And I would expect that you were involved in its preparation. You have said that the county government reassigned this role to the accounts payable subcommittee, full of finance officers who perhaps are the masterminds of the fake pending bills. CEC, have you seen because what you are saying is different from what is on paper. What is on paper says that that responsibility was reassigned from the internal auditor to the accounts payable subcommittee. So you are taking it from the internal auditor, bringing it back to finance. And perhaps finance is a crime scene.
Yeah, through you, Chairman.
Chair,
Who appointed this subcommittee?
both the person who was acting as CC that time and the current are both here, so maybe they can help each other to answer those questions.
Yeah, so CC, your explanation does not tie to this because you're saying that your explanation is that they're complementary. The response here says it was reassigned. It was taken away from internal auditor, taken to another subcommittee that is controlled by finance.
So let's say, let the chief officer of finance, seems like he wants to whisper something to me. Can you say to the committee?
Okay, chief
Marua,
officer of finance.
can you say what you are trying to tell? Can you explain?
Yes, chief officer, and please be guided by use as a reference point should be the governor's written response because that's what was submitted under oath.
Thank you, Chair. And with the blessings of His Excellency the Governor, this subcommittee was not supposed to take away the responsibility of the internal auditor in checking the pending bills. It was supposed to check the baseline of pending bills.
Chief officer, do we dismiss the report that has been tabled by the governor? Because the report said that the role was reassigned to the accounts payable subcommittee. That is what has been put before us under oath.
Yeah. It's not supposed to disqualify what the governor has presented. Just giving a clarification on.
Because you have said, we have gone further and even said that was done to avoid duplication of roles. I mean,
I think it's the language.
No, that it cannot be language.
Even Chair, you know, a reading of that response, Chair, they are saying that this role was reassigned to account payable subcommittee, comma, a subcommittee of the Project Coordination Committee of the transition from cash-based to accrual-based of accounting, comma, to avoid duplication. So which committee was that for reassigned? Because there are two committees here in the same sentence. Which subcommittee took over the role?
So, Governor, what do we do now? Do we trust your written response? We're in a big dilemma now.
You know now, Chair, I don't know if he's the internal auditor because you can see the internal auditor is the chair in that committee. So what happened between when we appointed her to check pending bills and that global committee when it was formed and she became the chair? I can really not take responsibility on that, Chair.
Maybe the CC should tell us who
My
made
answer is correct.
Who made that decision to even reassign?
The decision of appointing internal auditor,
No, reassigning that role.
reassigning, I don't know who
Yes.
did the decision. Maybe after appointed the necessary to appoint another committee to help our team. I don't know, but I appointed the internal auditor because I wanted to know exactly how much pending bills we have and if there's value for what we are supposed to pay, if projects were done or not done.
And really, that's the right thing to do.
Yes.
If there is a reassignment which you cannot account for, then there's a big problem. Because you see, Governor, we don't exist in a vacuum. Sometimes you receive anonymous messages